Lexicon. Lexicon is taken from Greek lexikos, pertaining to words, and often designates a book containing a list of words in a language along with their definition. So simply saying, you can say that a dictionary. However, technically we call it lexicon. Linguists use the term in particular to refer to a mental dictionary, a person's own words dictionary. I mean the words that a person has or in his or her mind. So lexicon is meant as a mental dictionary. Within linguistics, lexicon has taken on multiple definitions. So we can find a lot of definitions when we study the discipline of linguistics. Two widely accepted views on lexicon. According to one, the lexicon is a list of indivisible morphological units or morphemes in a language. So it's basically a list of indivisible morphological units that are words, right? So it means that words are taken as a whole, right? According to this one view, words are taken as a whole. They are because indivisible morphological units. According to the second view, which is by Bloomfield, a very known linguist, is a list of irregular or arbitrary forms. So irregular, that word comes to word comes as randomly, and they are taken as word and its meaning which does not have any intrinsic relationship. The meaning is arbitrary. As irregular or arbitrary, they must be memorized. And we memorize the meaning of the word knowing that there is no intrinsic relationship, that the word and its meaning are arbitrary units. For example, a Frenchman must learn that this is a combination of these sounds as a tree. It means a tree. It has no object which actually is found in the sound of this word. It is arbitrary. Similarly, an Englishman must learn this word and its meaning, and the relationship is arbitrary. It would be an error to assume that the first definition is equivalent to the second and that the list of irregular form is a list of morpheme, which is to say a list of indivisible units. So this is the opinion of the linguist that to think dictionary and an consisting indivisible morpheme that are words is not correct. But where natural language is concerned, this position is too extreme. Why this position is extreme? That actually what happened in natural languages is that we find the word in some such way that they are indivisible units. Evidence suggests that even morphologically complex forms are present in a speaker's lexicon. For example, all the words that have affixes and prefixes are found in our mind as units. For example, we have the word representative. This word is taken as a whole in the memory of a person, in the lexicon of a person. Though if we look at this, it has re, present and ative, three morphemes. But even then we take it as a one word. And then we see that this word, for example, if we are referring it to the American representative, to the state, etc., we use this word as a noun. However, we know that with ATV generally we have adjective. So it is an adjective suffix. Most words ending in ATIV are adjectives. So meaning of a complex word is the sum of the meaning of its part. So this is the question, that do we learn meaning as a whole or as sum of the meaning of its part? Because the difference between the meaning that we expect a word to have on the basis of the meaning of its parts, and the meaning that it actually has is quite subtle. I mean, this is very difficult, that whether we are getting the meaning from on the basis of the meaning of the parts, or we take the whole meaning as a whole of the word. For example, the lexicon contain more than word. Affixes such as English re can be assumed to be in the lexicon. I mean, is it there as a unit, as a different morpheme, and which we keep on adding to have words, or it is found as a part of the word? Speakers know and understand such affixes and readily attach them to new stems. Obviously, they are there in our mind, all suffixes and affixes, and we keep on using them to make new words. Some affixed inflected forms like says must also be in a lexicon. For example, we add s with a verb, like we add verb play and plays, right? So the word is say. When added with an s, it should have been says, but actually it is says. So this is also found in the lexicon of the speakers of English. We know this because says is an exception to the general rule. Add s to the basic stem of a verb to form the third person singular present. For example, as I cited the example, we take any write and we add s and get writes or reads, right? But in this case, we have a exception. We add s and get a new sound, which is not found in the with the addition of third person s in the verbs. Say, and says out loud. Say has a tense vowel, but says has a lax vowel, like it has a short vowel, whereas say has a tense long vowel, or has a diphthong, and diphthongs are tense vowels, whereas short vowels are lax vowels. Anti-disestablishmentarianism. So if you look at this word, this is a very long word. So do you understand its meaning on the basis of its units, morphological units, or as a whole? If we divide this into morphemes, we find a lot of anti-disestablishmentarianism. So we need to list some compound as well. We take them as one word or two words. Obviously, not only words, but we have certain fixed phrases. For example, butterflies in the stomach, run up a bill. So these are fixed and we take them, their meaning as a whole. Names of people, John, Harry, and places, Gulf of Mexico. Proverbs, for example, don't count your chickens before they are hatched. So proverbs all need to be memorized too and are arguably in the lexicon. So we have to memorize the meaning of all these things, fixed phrases, proverbs, names, etc. The most accurate conception of the lexicon will be a list of forms that you know. A list of forms. Forms mean words that we know, in some sense equivalent to your linguistic memory. So lexicon is equivalent to our mental or linguistic of memory that is related to language. It cannot simply be a list of indivisible morphological units. So we cannot say because it is equivalent to our linguistic memory, so it's not simply indivisible morphological elements. Instead, it contains irregular forms that are in some way unpredictable. So there is no regularity in the lexicon that exists in our minds, and in some way the things in the mind are unpredictable. predictable. Though we have these morphemes, affixes, we keep on adding affixes and suffixes to coin new word. So it's very difficult to come up with an exact definition. There are certain approaches, certain views of the linguists regarding what is lexicon. Generally, we take it as a list of words that we use for knowing meanings or a person's mental dictionary.